Sports presents California Angels Baseball. Live from Anaheim Stadium, the California Angels host the New York Yankees. Tonight's Angels game is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Chevrolet and the new Chevy S-Series line of trucks. So new from the inside out, everything else is history. By Farmer John for the finest bacon, ham, sausage, hot dogs, luncheon meats, and fresh pork. Farmer John. By Chevron, the only unleaded gasoline with Tetraline. Chevron, simply smarter. And by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safely. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the ballpark. I'm Ken Wilson along with Ken Brett. Great night for baseball. The Yanks are here. It's the opener of a two-game series. Couple things we know. The Yanks are playing very well on a West Coast road trip. We also know that the Angels are trying to put an end to a 5-game losing streak. And I guess when you look at the overall record, there's no question the key is the Angels have not been winning at home.
Well, look at what they've done this year. They're 500 on the road. If they were 500 at home, this team would be in first place. Now look what they did last year. A pretty good record at home. They really struggled on the road. They need to start winning at home. A good time would be tonight.
It would be nice to win, and Chuck Finley, my golly, he says yes, it would be nice to win. He hasn't won. He goes against the Yanks left-hander Terry Mulholland.
Two quality left-handers, neither of which has gotten off to a real good start. When you talk to Chuck Hernandez, the Angels pitching coach, Finley is throwing the ball well. He is just not making consistently good pitches. Mulholland is throwing the ball better.
What has been consistent for the Angels? Right from day one, it has been Chili Davis.
Chili Davis hit 243 last year with 100-plus RBIs. This year, he's on pace for 100-plus RBIs, but the batting average 360. I asked him what was the difference this year.
Well, you know, basically, I think that I'm not trying to do too much. I mean, I could very easily go up to bat and try to hit 3-run home runs and try to do it all myself. But, you know, I came into spring training and I said, whatever happens this year, just, you know, do what you can. Last year, I think I pretty much learned to take what I can get with runners in scoring position, and I didn't do that with nobody on base. I kept trying to hit the double or the long ball to try to, you know, make something happen. But this year I figure, you know, if I can concentrate the same way I did last year with runners in scoring position with nobody on base, then I should be able to eliminate a lot of strikeouts and put the ball in play a little more.
And Chili Davis is in there tonight against the Yanks. It's baseball from Anaheim Stadium coming up next. Yankees starting lineup penned by skipper Buck Showalter at third, leading off Randy Velarde. Then the DH Jim Leyritz. Don Mattingly is batting third. He's at first base. The Yanks cleanup hitter is right fielder Danny Tartabull. Mike Stanley bats fifth. He'll do the catching. He'll be followed by Paul O'Neill. He'll be in left field. He's the league's leading hitter. The center fielder for New York, Bernie Williams. Hitting eighth, Mike Gallego. He'll be stationed at shortstop, and Pat Kelly is the ninth hitter and second baseman.
And the Angels starting pitcher, veteran Chuck Finley, 8th year with the Angels, and trying to forget about April and get a fresh start here in May. He was 0-2 with an ERA of 6.42 in his 5 April starts. And as we talked about a few minutes ago, he was throwing the ball well and continues to have good stuff. Just needs to be a little more consistent.
Defensively for the Angels in this one, the outfield, Jackson, Curtis, and Salmon. The infield, Easley, Owen, Hudler, and Perez, and Turner is the catcher. An absolutely ideal night for baseball. Not a cloud in the sky. Very, very pleasant for the opener of this two-game series. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the California Angels and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the California Angels is prohibited. The Yanks have been on the road. This is the last stop on a 7-game West Coast swing. They've won 3. They've lost 2. The plate umpire tonight is Derwood Merrill, Mike Riley, Tim Welke, and Joe Brinkman out on the bases. There's our buddy Derwood.
The pride of Hooks, Texas. And what a character he is.
And here's Randy Velarde leading it off. 326 hitter, 5 RBIs, playing third base. That's usually where the Yankees have Wade Boggs stationed. But Boggs getting the night off with a left-hander pitching. Usually Luis Poloni is the leadoff hitter, and he gets the night off also, even though Poloni is pretty hot right now with the bat. Fastball cracked to center, well hit. Curtis drifting back. He's got the range, and he makes the catch, and Velarde is retired, the first out of the game. That'll bring up Jim Leyritz, the designated hitter. He's batting .314, 5 homers, 10 RBIs.
And Ken, you can see what Buck Showalter wants to do. If he's going to rest some left-handers, why not rest him against Chuck Finley, a good left-handed pitcher, and get some at-bats for his right-handers? And here's a perfect example. Leyritz, the DH.
First pitch is a ball. You look at this Yankee lineup, and though they have some great left-handed hitters, you could understand they could be susceptible to left-handed pitching a bit. This one hit well. Curtis, a bit of a late start. Hustles, won't get to it. One hop off the fence, and into second base goes Jim Leyritz, and he has a one-out double.
This ball is just a shot right over the head of Luis Polonia, or not Polonia, but Chad Curtis in center. Look where the pitch was, up and out over the plate. That's the kind of a pitch they are going to croak all night long, and the ball tailing from the center field area toward right center field, and Chad Curtis just could not run that ball down. Notice he had a little sign on his hat there, Ken.
Yes, he does. He's the proud papa to a brand new baby daughter born today. Congratulations to Chad. Here's Don Mattingly. He takes a strike, and his wife Candace. Pretty little girl born today. Mattingly, 261, 2 homers, 14 RBIs. We're assuming that that little pin on his hat has to do with the birth of the child. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mattingly coming in with a 13-game hitting streak.
Here's one guy, Ken, that is not going to get the night off. I don't care who's pitching. Generally speaking, this guy's going to play.
Mattingly gets a good look at pitches. He's very deep in the batter's box. 2-1 the count. He has that back foot right on the chalk.
At least he's in the box.
Yes.
We've seen some guys 6 inches out of the box.
Curveball, foul back, 2-2. Finley really taking a lot off that pitch. And Mattingly out on the front foot.
You know, we had talked earlier about Chuck Finley improving the quality of his curveball this year. It has really helped him in his efforts to improve against left-handed hitters. And generally speaking, as we see tonight, you know, Boggs is off, Polonia is off, but the good left-handed hitters for the Yankees are still in there. Most notably O'Neill and Mattingly. You've got to have good stuff as a left-hander to get him out. It doesn't matter to them, generally speaking, who's pitching.
Perez at first. He says, I'll do it myself. He wins the race to the bag. Leyritz advances to third.
And of course, that better curveball from Finley is a very good weapon against left-handed hitters for him. Much more so than in previous years.
Oh, you mentioned those names. Mattingly, O'Neill, the 2 fellows out, Polonia and Boggs. Yes, the Yanks are a little bit heavy on the left-handed side at the plate. Danny Tartabull struggling on the road trip. 256 on the year, 4 homers, 17 RBIs in the cleanup spot. Runner at third, 2 outs. Curve in there for a strike. Tartabull started to struggle before the trip. One ball, 1 strike. This Yankee team coming in with a record of 15-9. Well over 500. Yet against left-handed starters, they are strictly 500, 4-4. So they have eaten up the right-handed pitching. 1-2, and Finley had a little extra on that one.
as we said just at the start of the broadcast, Ken, Chuck Hernandez says Chuck Fenley still has the quality stuff. The fastball is still there. The breaking ball is better. He just needs to make consistently good pitches.
Swing and a miss, and Finley strikes out Tartabull. And in the opening inning, the Yanks leave a runner at third after half an inning at the Big A. Yanks nothing. Angels coming up. Yanks failed to score in their half of the first. Now we're ready for the Angels, and let's take a look at Buck Rogers' batting order. Buck Rogers going with Damian Easley in the leadoff spot, playing third. Then the center fielder, Chad Curtis. Hitting third, playing right, Tim Salmon. The cleanup hitter is the DH, Chili Davis. Batting fifth and left, Bo Jackson. He'll be followed by Eduardo Perez, who's at first base. Chris Turner does the catching. Rex Hudler hitting eighth, playing second, and Spike Owen hits the start at short.
And the veteran left-hander Terry Mulholland making his first start here at Anaheim Stadium. He's 2-2, and his ERA high for this time of the year, 7.36 in his 5 starts. He has made one quality start in those 5. Look at the hits to innings pitched. He has not had as good a stuff as he has in past seasons. Fastball, curveball, changeup, and a cut fastball from the left-hander.
Damian Easley, who likes Yankee pitching, he has in his brief big league career. Grew up following the Yanks as a youngster, and he takes a look at the first pitch. It's a strike. Damian coming in hitting .261, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. And it's pretty tough to be a leadoff hitter and not look at some pitches. A lot of people figure the first time through the order, especially the top of the order, first couple hitters, hey, make them throw some strikes, give the folks on the bench, your teammates, a chance to see some pitches. 1-1 pitch, grounded to short. Gallego over to Mattingly, and Easley is retired.
Again, you would think that would be the case in this ball game because the Angels, generally speaking, have not seen Mulholland, period. Take a couple pitches, get a little bit of an idea of what he has.
The outfield for the Yanks, O'Neill, Bernie Williams, and Tartabull. The infield, Velarde, Gallego, Kelly, and Mattingly. Stanley is the catcher. You talk to some old-time ball players, they think it's a sin for the first few hitters especially not to go 4 or 5 pitches into the count if possible, just to get an idea. Curtis grounds the ball to Gallego, and Chad is retired. So between Easley and Curtis, they see 4 pitches.
I would think if you're a hitter and you haven't seen a guy, if you've never faced a pitcher like Mulholland, you might want to at least take a look and try to make him throw every pitch he has one time. Try to work the count a little bit. Now, if he jumps ahead 0-2, obviously you're going to have to start swinging the bat. But let's see what this guy's got. Let's see what his fastball does. Let's see what kind of movement his breaking ball has.
Pretty tough when you go back to the dugout. Teammate hitting 7th or 8th says, "What's he throw?" You'd like to be able to say, "Well, I saw 2 or 3 pitches." Different pitches from him. 232 for Tim Salmon, 3 homers, 15 RBIs. Tim's struggling a bit, but a number of Angels are having a tough time on this homestand with a bat. And here's a situation where his first time up, Salmon is in the hole 0-2.
You look at the homestand, the Angels have played 5 games on this homestand. They're all 0-5, but the batting average over the last 5 ball games, 190, which isn't going to do much good for you when it comes time to score runs. ERA collectively 6.8. Now you put those 2 numbers together, Ken, and it's easy to see why the team is 0-5. They're giving up a lot of runs. They're not scoring any.
And you saw Salmon 4 for his last 32 on the homestand, 3 for 20. Tough sledding. Salmon strikes out. He has struck out more than any player in the league. That was his 100th at bat, and he has struck out 33 times this season.
What would you do with a motor
State. Second inning, no score. Mike Stanley, Paul O'Neill, and Bernie Williams for the Yankees. Stanley is the catcher. First pitch from Finley, a ball. 206, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. Stanley has been around a bit. But boy, never had a season like he did in '93. What a year he had. He grounds the ball left side, ranging to his left in the hole easily. Takes his time. He knew he had it. And he gets Stanley. That's a good play because you realize when you watch that play that He knew the speed of the hitter.
You always got to know the speed of the hitter when you're on defense, because it'll tell you most of the time whether you have to rush your throw or not. But getting back to Mike Stanley, you were talking about him last year. 26 home runs in 130 games last year. Now, lifetime, he's got 50 home runs. That's before this year. And the point I'm going to make, Ken, is prior to 1993, Mike Stanley had hit 24 home runs in 520 games. Last year, hit 26 and 130.
You know what? He thought the ball was juiced last season. He got the wrong year. Now, you know, if the ball is juiced this year, he should...
He can hit 50.
Yeah, really. There's his year. 26 homers, 84 RBIs, 305. Big year for Mike Stanley. Is this going to be a year that proves he's got a few seasons as a quality player, or is it going to be a case where they look back at his career and say, well, he had one fluke year?
And he lived off it for a long time. A lot of times when you have a good fluke year, and I'm not in any way saying it was, but you get the salary of a 30 home run guy, and you could live off that for quite a while.
Paul O'Neill up there. Finley throws 2-1. And it is 3 balls and a strike. You have to have some respect for Paul O'Neill with that .443 average leading the league. He leads the Yanks in homers with 6, 24 RBIs. There are only 3 players with more RBIs. He's had a great start. And the ex-Cincinnati Red draws a 1-out walk here in the 2nd inning. From time to time, walks have plagued Chuck Finley.
Yankees in that department lead the American League. They have drawn more walks than any team in the AL. So it's a patient team offensively.
Yeah, they have been a walking team on this road trip. Here's Bernie Williams, 184, 4 homers, 11 RBIs. Angels look for 2. A strike as Williams shortens up. It's hard to believe in the first 5 games of this trip, the Yankees have earned over 7 walks per game on the average. Man, that's a lot. And there's no question, if you can keep up any reasonable pace in terms of obtaining walks over a long haul, it is going to help your offense. It just has to.
Hey, the old expression, a walk's as good as a hit. It's perfectly true, because a walk is the same thing as a single. You get a runner on first base, a lot of times those walks are going to come around to score.
1 strike pitch to Bernie Williams, tight 1-1.
At the same time, what you're doing, if you're a patient team offensively, you're going to make the other pitcher work. You're not going to give him anything easy. You're going to make him throw strikes, make him work harder out there, take something out of him.
Interesting, they're the only team with more walks than strikeouts, the Yankees. They've piled up those walks on this road trip. They've been to Seattle, they've been to Oakland. This ball goes to left field. O'Neill to second. He'll stop there on the single by Bernie Williams. 2 on and 1 out.
Split finger pitch here from Chuck Finley, but notice where the location is. It's about belt high. Just drives it through the hole and left. That'll bring up Mike Gallego, the number 8 hitter. Mike off to a bit of a slow start offensively. A 198 average.
He has had a very, very tough time. Gallego, with that injury-riddled 92 season after coming over from Oakland, hit .283 last season. But as Ken mentioned, just 198 this season, and in his last 37 at-bats, he's really had a terrible time. He's got a chance now to produce. Scoreless 2nd inning. He fouls this one 1-1. He's in one of those bad slumps, 3 for 37, where you can't help it. You're doing some funny thinking.
That's a bad slump right there. 3 for 37. About 1 for 12, 1 for 13. That's a long drought between base hits. But Gallego, good player, veteran player. He knows what he's got to do to get base hits, and I would think the quality is going to come through for him in the long run.
no further play. Damian Easley makes the grab at third.
He is so quick defensively at third base. He's got the quickness of a second baseman or a shortstop. Out over the plate is this pitch, and look at Easley. So he hits the ball hard, and those are the kind of things that get you thinking when you're in that 3 for 37 slump. You hit the ball hard and you don't get a break.
Here's Pat Kelly. Pat takes a strike from Finley. He's not happy with the call. Takes a walk. Looks back at Derwood Merrill. 254, no homers, 3 RBIs.
Yeah, throw another one right there, don't you?
Yeah. It worked once. Either he'll swing at it and hit it on the ground, or Merrill's arm will come up. 1-1. Kelly hit .273 last year. Played more than he had in '92 and '91 with the Yanks. They've liked this young man for a long time. And finally moved Steve Sachs out of the way so he could play second base every day. 1-2.
Speaking of Steve Sachs, saw that he was signed by Oakland.
We will see him soon.
Be here over the weekend. He thought his career was over. He was getting ready to go home, pack it in.
Saturday night, of course. A's here. You'll see it right here on KTLA Channel 5. Yanks here tomorrow night. A's here Thursday through Sunday. We've got the Saturday night game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That'll be Mark Leiter, by the way, against Bobby Witt. That will be a 7 o'clock start here at the Big A on Saturday night. Umbrella night, and the action right here on Channel 5. 2 on, 2 outs, 2-2 the count. No score, second inning. Strike 3 call. Kelly can't believe it. He stands there leaning on the bat. And Derwood Merrill walks away. No score, going to the bottom of the second. Chili Davis leads it off, and he taps one foul on the first pitch from Terry Mulholland. It's the second inning. Davis, Jackson, and Perez, and there's no score.
Ken, one of the scouting reports that I got on Terry Mulholland before the ball game, and I have never seen the gentleman pitch before, except on television. Very quick move to first base and second base.
There's a shot to right. It'll fall in front of Tarnable. A base hit. Chili Davis continues his very hot hitting, coming in as the 6th leading hitter in the league at .362, and that average climbs even higher.
What did Chili Davis say? I'm just going to take what they give me. Down and in, little inside-out swing, little line drive into right field. Now, when I talked about his move to first base, they said it was a quick move to first base. It's not a deceptive, great move to first base, a la a Jimmy Key, who's got probably as good a move to first as anybody. We're talking about the move where the left-handed pitcher takes his left foot off the rubber and quickly snaps the throw to first.
Bo Jackson rips it to the screen. 1 strike.
They also said he was very quick to second base, and that's the kind of a scouting report you would never hear about a pitcher. Boy, he's got a good pickoff to second.
He shares the National League record for most pickoffs in a season, 16 in 1992. There's a little snap throw, and he almost gets Chili. Can you tell Chili? Share your report?
Well, I can't confide in my confidence, as you know.
Right,
I don't want to be known as a tattletale or a pipe. You know what the pipeline is in baseball. That's the guy who you tell something to, he tells everybody. I can't get that reputation.
We appreciate you sharing it with our vast viewing audience.
That's why I'm getting it for the audience. I'm not getting it for either team.
1 ball, 1 strike on Bo. Bo looking for his initial hit on this homestand. One and 2. Bo, his last 9 starts, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. Platoons in left field with newcomer Dwight Smith.
Buck was talking about the left field position today before the ball game, and he said this is the kind of a position for the Angels if we do not get offense, it is a wasted position. He needs offense from Dwight Smith and Bo Jackson.
Strike 3 called. If Bo is caught looking, that's 2 strikeouts for Terry Mulholland.
Now Bo's disagreeing. He's muttering to himself as he goes back to the dugout. Looks like a good pitch.
Eduardo Perez, the Angels' young first baseman. .207, 5 homers. He's tied for the team lead with Chili Davis and 15 RBIs. He lines one to center. That's a single. Chili takes the turn. He'll hold on. Bernie Williams charges the ball and gets it back in. And the Angels, like the Yanks, in their half of the second inning, runners at first and second, 1 out.
It's a hanging breaking ball here from Mulholland. Look how Perez just waits on it and rifles it into center field. You know, I was talking to Eduardo before the ball game today, and you know, you'd never know from talking to him, Ken, that he's batting a little over 200. Boy, he is so up. He is just got such a good attitude about not only himself but the team and the game. He did have a cortisone shot in his left hand the other day. He said that was one of the reasons he thinks that his batting average had dropped somewhat. And it was as a result of a bad swing he took way back in New York on the last road trip. His bottom hand, the left hand, bothering him to the point where he had to get the injection.
Chris Turner with a 1-ball count. Turner would pay top dollar for a few base hits.
Ian Gallego?
Yeah, they're not going to bother at the discount store. They'll go top flight. Chris won for his last 30 at home this season without a hit, 0 for 20. Two and 1.
And watch how Mulholland, when he takes the ball out of his glove, appears to rub it against his pant leg. Very unusual to see a pitcher do that. It's just obvious the way he's always done it. He takes the ball out of his glove and he rubs it down the left side of his thigh. That was not the quick move to second base.
That was the slow stare. No score here at the Big A, second inning. Angels at first and second, 1 out. They're going 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. High throw, the tag out. At third is Chili Davis. Stanley to Velarde to cut down Chili in the front half of a double steal.
The hit and run is put on. One thing you've got to do on the hit and run, you have got to make contact. And when Chili Davis is at second, this is what happens. I mean, he is just out by a mile. Contact is the key in the hit and run. Worst thing that happens is you foul it off, you go back and you start over again.
2-2 pitch. And Turner strikes out. 3 strikeouts in the early going for Terry Mulholland. Chuck Finley will come out in the third. He has already struck out 2 Yankees. Neither team has scored. Both teams have threatened. And the game advances to the third inning. Chuck Finley trying to pick up his first win, hoping he can stave off the Yanks, hoping his teammates can get some runs here against Mulholland. Back to the top of the New York order, Velarde, Leyritz, and Mattingly. Velarde, first pitch of the game, hit a fly ball to Curtis in center field. Ball 1.
I know when Doug Rader was the manager of this team, he liked Velarde to the point where he wanted to go out and get him. Would like to have had Velarde as a member of the Angels.
Left center, that'll fall. A hit for Velarde. And he makes a big aggressive turn and holds on.
Velarde's lifetime batting average versus the Angels, well over 300, about 325. It just went right off the end of the bat. Just a little dunker. not your typical leadoff hitter, as you could guess. First pitch of the ball game, he was hacking. This is a guy that he says, I'm going to lead off once in the ball game, but I'm going to be swinging.
He's been up there twice, leading off the first, leading off the third. He's seen 2 pitches. This is Leyritz. Fastball high, ball 1. You saw the first base coach for the Yanks, Brian Butterfield. He's down there helping out Velarde. There he is. Over on the other side, of course, Willie Randolph. 2-0 on Leyritz. Mattingly on deck. Two and one. Leyritz coming off the very strong '93 season. Leyritz played some college baseball at the University of Kentucky.
If you're thinking about Leyritz, not Leyritz, but Velarde running, he has not tried a stolen base this year. Finley does not have a real good move to first.
Nobody out. This ball hit foul down the right field line. Two balls, 2 strikes. Full count now on Leyritz.
I would expect him to be going now, though.
Yeah. The Angels in double play depth. Velarde goes, swing and a miss. No chance for Turner. Velarde has himself a stolen base, which for the Yanks works the same as a sacrifice.
I tell you what, Finley made a heck of a pitch right there. Pulled the string on something, and the off-speed pitch does 2 things. It gives the runner an extra step or 2. And Turner couldn't get the ball out of his glove. This is not the kind of a situation where, as a runner, you're looking to get the greatest of jumps. On a 3-2 pitch, a base on balls puts you into second. A ball in play, you just got to react.
Don Mattingly grounded out in the first inning. Laces this one foul. Boy, in the mid-'80s, he was something, wasn't he? He's still a great player, but he had 4 great years with the Yankees that really established him. You think of him as a 300 hitter. This year hitting .258. Last few seasons he's had to battle some injuries. Had surgery to repair a damaged tendon in his wrist hand area after last season. There is a mid-'80s batting champion, MVP, homered in 8 straight games in '87. Of course, over that stretch, that 4-year stretch, a .337 average. Not a bad pace. 30 homers, 121 RBIs. That establishes you as a star very nicely.
I think one of the things that has hurt Mattingly is the back injury, because he's had to change his batting stance a little bit. He used to hold his bat a lot higher. Now he rests it on his shoulder until the last second. And I think that is as a result of the back. So he has had to make some pretty good adjustments out of what I would consider his natural batting stance. And that's hard to do when you've been doing it one way for practically your entire career. Probably going back until he was a teenager before that.
He's had 4 straight seasons under 300. And he's still a .309 lifetime hitter coming into this season. That's how strong he was in his early seasons with the Yankees.
Those are the kind of numbers, 4 seasons in a row under 300, that would probably hurt a player like Mattingly from perhaps getting into the Hall of Fame. Because he had numbers earlier in his career that, if they continued, would certainly be an indication that he was of that caliber. But it's how you do over your whole career when they talk about that.
Velarde at second, 1 out in the third, no score. And Mattingly draws a walk. That's 2 walks tonight, given up by Finley.
He's walked 2, and they've both been left-handers. Walked O'Neill in the second, Mattingly here in the third. Now he's got a potential double play set up, but still he's got the very dangerous Danny Tartabull up at the plate, who he struck out in the first inning on an outstanding split finger pitch.
Great pitch. 1 strike. Tartabull will strike out. There's no question about that. He's up there with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. 25 Ks already this year. Set a Yankee single season record last season for strikeouts. Two and 1. Of course, Tartabull originally with Seattle, then Kansas City. This is his 3rd season with the Yanks.
He missed 24 games last year and still broke the record.
Yeah. Didn't play all of them. Swing and a miss. 2 and 2.
Another good pitch there from Finley. He falls behind 2 and 1, comes back with the split. Tartabull looking for something straight. You don't want to go 3 and 2 here. This is the pitch you want to get him out of.
He strikes him out. So Tartabull strikes out for the 2nd straight time.
You know, one of the things I've noticed about Chuck Finley tonight, number 1, the split finger pitch is working, and you can see it again right here. Number 2, he's not missing with it as badly as I've seen him miss it in earlier starts. In earlier starts, when he needed the strikeout, a lot of times he would bounce it a foot in front of the plate. Much better control tonight with his split finger pitch, which means he's going to get a lot more check swings and swings at bad pitches.
With 2 on and 2 outs, he faces Mike Stanley, the Yankee catcher. That's in there. Well, they've been looking at videotapes over and over again of Finley from other than this season. Buck wouldn't say what they found, but they felt they found a little something in his mechanics in the last few days that they wanted to straighten out for tonight.
You talking about Finley now?
Finley, yes.
I didn't know whether you were talking about Buck Showalter or Buck Rogers. I know one thing that Chuck Hernandez said when he was talking about Finley. If he has a tendency to bend his back backwards, as if the bow is back, it makes all of his pitches flatten out a little bit. And when you're 6'6" like Finley, you want to get that good downward angle on all your pitches. Take advantage of your height. I have not seen that tonight.
2 strikes on Mike Stanley.
And you know they can't tell us everything because their locker room might have our game on.
Swing and a miss. Finley strikes out the side. Finley in 3 innings has struck out 5. And this game goes to the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless. Elsewhere, Texas beats Detroit. Texas trying to catch Seattle. They're right up there with the Mariners atop the West. But Boston, a win over Seattle. Boston has won 6 in a row. Toronto wins 1-0 over the Royals. 10-1, the White Sox at home over Cleveland there in the 8th. In the 9th at County Stadium, the Brewers by 1 over the Twins. Up in Oakland, the struggling A's trailing Baltimore 3-0. And there's your story. So Texas wins, Seattle loses. Texas takes over first place in the West by 1/2 game over the mighty M's.
We talk about the great start some teams have, and we're just in early May, obviously. But Atlanta, off to that great start, what they were 12, 13, and 1. Best record in baseball now belongs to the Boston Red Sox.
That's right. Boston 19 and 7 with that victory. So the Yanks know they have to win here just to remain 2.5 out. Baltimore has the same fate up in Oakland. Rex Hudler leading off here in the third. He's in the hole, 2 strikes. He's the 8th hitter in the order. He'll be followed by Spike Owen and then Damian Easley. You don't feel so badly when the Red Sox now have the best record in baseball about the fact that they came here and won every game of the series.
How about 0-6?
Well,
don't want to talk about that. Let's move on to the next subject.
Trying to forget some of it. Boston has won 6 in a row. Hottest team in the game. 1-2.
Yankees, after the game tomorrow, which of course is here, go home to play the Red Sox this weekend.
That'd be a big series. Here's Mattingly to the mouth of the dugout, but little flare is out of his reach. 1-2 on Hudler. The Yankees have their own plane now. This is the first trip they've used it. They're 3 out. Baltimore 3 out at the moment. If the Yanks and Orioles were to win, they'd move back to 2.5 behind Boston. Then Toronto, the defending champs, and the Tigers well off the pace. That is a tough division, folks.
Their own plane? I didn't know that.
They've got their own plane. It's the first trip they have used it. Swing and a miss. Rex Hudler strikes out, and that's 4 strikeouts for Mulholland, the same number. I should say 1 less than Finley. Finley now with 5. Look who's at the ballpark tonight.
Now, Reggie Jackson watching the game tonight. He is a vice president with the Yankees. He always gets those good seats, you know, lucky seats. You know, he likes to eat too. He's always eating. He's not a big man, don't get me wrong. He's just always eating.
First pitch to Spike Owen, the ex-Yankee, is a strike.
When he was working here as a broadcaster, he was eating a lot on the air. A lot of little snacks.
I know in 1990, in the one game I snuck in and worked with him, he put it away pretty good for a caster. He was busy. Raisins, fruit, snacks. There's a fly down the right field line, giving chase. Tartable into foul ground, and it's out of his reach. Four strikeouts for Mulholland through 2 1/3. 5 strikeouts for Finley through 3. Spike Owen making his 4th start. Buck Rogers giving Gary DiSarcina a rest, and there is strike 3, folks. That's 5 strikeouts already for Mulholland. He has 3 straight.
Both pitchers on a strikeout tear right now. And once again, it's the fastball down and in. Good pitch. Watch Spike backing away.
Here's young Damian Easley in the first, grounded to short. Grounds to short again. Big hop for Gallego. Angels go 1, 2, 3 in the third. After 3, a pitcher's battle. Mulholland and Finley. Yanks with 3 hits, 1 in each inning. The Angels with 2 hits. They came from Davis and Perez in the second. Finley ready to go to work here in the 4th. O'Neill, Williams, and Gallego. Chuck with 5 strikeouts. Mulholland with 5 already. So these 2 left-handers that have not exactly torn up the league here early in the season are pitching well tonight. O'Neill walked back in the second inning. First pitch, ball one. O'Neill, a 31-year-old. He is from Columbus, Ohio. Of course, came up in '85 with Cincinnati. He has a notion, holds back 2-0. Leading the league in hitting, leading the league in on base percentage, slugging percentage. Nice little start. 3-0.
In all his years in the National League, never hit 300. Hit 300 for the first time last year as a Yankee. And his lifetime batting average prior to this year was .268. So he's put it all together the last couple of years.
And he walks. He walks leading off here in the fourth. 3 walks that Finley has allowed. Bernie Williams, a base hit to left his first trip. Switch hitting center fielder. Angels think 2 here. Easily even with a bag at third. And the pitch tight, ball one. The Yanks starting this road trip in Seattle. They won 1, they lost 1. And they took 2 out of 3 in Oakland. Just the 2 here. And then they're back home. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Boy, the East and the West have been getting together. And the East has been dominant, haven't they? Look at the Yanks. 11-4 against West Division teams. 4-5 against the other divisions. And they're not alone. But you look at the American League and you would be talking about the best teams going in. Say, hey, Baltimore, great team. Boston could be real tough. Yanks could be real tough. And of course, you know, Toronto. Well, they're all in the East Division, and the Angels and the Mariners and the A's especially have seen those teams much too much for their liking here early. Nice pickup by Turner, and it's 2-1 on Bernie Williams.
And as you know, these things run in cycles. It wasn't many years ago that the American League West was probably considered tougher than the East. But now it has swung back the other way, and now obviously it's the American League East that has the majority of the stronger teams. But it's still early in the season. Some teams are going to get better. Some teams are going to fall down a little.
3 balls and a strike on Bernie Williams.
Finley having control problems here. A leadoff walk. Second walk that he's given up to a left-handed batter. And now he falls behind a Bernie Williams hitting 184.
Gallego on deck. Ground ball in the hole, and it's under the glove of Easley. Stopping at second is O'Neill. And there are Yanks at first and second. Nobody out here in the fourth. I want to see it again, Ken, but I got the idea that Damien had it flatten out on him a little.
Ball goes right underneath his glove. Damien has a chance to turn this into a double play. Ball does not come up for him like he thinks it does. It was right under his glove. And that'll be a base hit all the way. To see if the Angels look for a bunt here from Gallego. He hit the ball hard his first time up, but he is struggling.
He's ready to bunt, and he spins around. Ball one. Gallego hitting 195. Certainly not a big fellow, one of the smaller players in the game. Pat Kelly will follow. 2 on, nobody out. Yanks fourth, and there's no score. Yanks thinking bunt. Now they're going to run and hit, and a base hit to left. That'll score O'Neill. Racing to third. Bernie Williams, he's in. Throw to second on the single by Gallego, who picks up his 13th RBI. Off to O'Neill, comes back to hurt Chuck Finley.
Boy, when you're playing good and the Yankees are playing good, you just don't seem to be able to do anything wrong. The Angels looking for bunt. You got lots of movement on the infield, and look what Gallego does. Last time he's up, it's a line drive. This is a soft ground ball, and you could see Damian Easley a couple of steps in at third, takes away all his lateral range, and he just finds himself a hole. So already tonight, it has evened out a little bit for Gallego.
1-0 Yanks. The ninth batter in the order, Pat Kelly. Called out on strikes in the second, and he didn't like it. First pitch, a strike.
And Ken, that is the first time in this inning that the first pitch from Chuck has been a strike. And the most important pitch is strike one. Get ahead. Makes your life a lot easier. He has been behind.
Kelly, not much success against Finley in his career, 3 for 17. Well, from a Yankee point of view here, Kelly has to find a way to get that run in from third, Bernie Williams. And there are so many ways to do it, especially with nobody out. He's thinking bunt, takes a strike, and he's really battling with plate umpire Derwood Merrill tonight.
If I'm Chuck Finley, and I know the umpire might be a little mad at the hitter, I might try to throw one about 6 inches outside corner.
For sure.
Let's see what happens here.
Target's right down the pipe. Breaking pitch, line to left. The 0-2 pitch for a single. Williams will score. 2-0 New York. Stopping at second is Gallego.
Chuck Finley's in his 8th year in the big leagues. You do not want to get hit with an 0-2 pitch to the number 9 hitter. You just don't want to do it. Don't give him anything too good to hit into left field for a base hit like that. Now the Yankees, 2 runs in, still nobody out. And the hitter, Randy Velarde, looking down to the third base coach, Willie Randolph, and asking, am I going to be bunting in this situation? Damian Easley goes in to tell Chuck Finley what play the Angels are going to put on, so he knows where to go. So the Angels obviously looking for the bunt here.
Velarde, first inning. First pitch, fly to center. Third inning, first pitch, single to left center. Easley charging. The pitch high, a ball. With Perez charging from first. All indications are the Angels will try the same thing. At second, Gallego. At first, Kelly. Still nobody out. Yanks have scored twice. They lead it 2-0 here in the fourth. 2-0.
You think they're going to pull it off again and give him a chance to swing the bat, give him one swing here? Finley's got to pretty much throw a strike. If he's thinking bunt, he's going to throw a fastball.
The bunt to Perez. He tags the hitter runner, Velarde, out number 1. The sacrifice moves Gallego to third, Kelly to second.
Take a look at the bunt here. There's no doubt he's bunting. I mean, he's been in the bunt position ever since Finley got the sign. All you're trying to do is put the ball down on the ground to the first baseman or the third baseman. That's exactly what he did. He did a good job.
Jim Leyritz has doubled and struck out, and he takes strike 1.
So many times you see hitters in sacrifice situations trying to bunt for base hits. Well, that's not what the intent is. The intent is to move the runners and you to be sitting on the bench. Now, if the defense messes up and you make a good bunt and you're on first base, so much the better.
There's another strike, 0-2. That look says, I don't think it was a strike. Perez, the first baseman, very shallow, right at the edge of the grass and well off the bag at first. Now the entire infield comes in. Ground ball in the hole. Base hit. Gallego scores. They're waving in Kelly. He'll score. They don't cut the ball off, and into second base goes Leyritz on the throw home. 4-0 New York. Leyritz a single, and he picks up his 11th and 12th RBIs.
Chuck Finley, second time in the inning, an 0-2 pitch. Now he's gotten everybody on strikeout so far with a split finger pitch, and this one, if it's a split finger, and I really can't tell, is not a very good one. And then he compounds his problem. Look at where the big left-hander is. He's supposed to be backing up the plate. He's acting as a cutoff man. And I think that's due to frustration. Finley's job when the ball is hit to left field like that is to get behind home plate and be a backup man. He's supposed to be off the diamond. He was right in the middle of the diamond. That is fundamental baseball. The 0-2 pitch 2 times in the inning and not backing up the base. And that is just not what you would expect from Chuck Finley.
The inning started with a walk to O'Neill. Then 3 straight singles from Williams, Gallego, and Kelly. The Velarde sacrifice. And now a 2-run Leyritz single. And here's Don Mattingly, who has grounded out and walked. 7 hits in all for the New Yorkers, and this foul back. Mattingly with that 13-game hitting streak. Fly ball, left field. Leyritz plays it halfway. Jackson the catch. 2 outs. Finley against the Yanks in his career has been very successful here. Not so successful in New York. But boy, I tell you, he has dominated the Yanks here at the Big A. His lifetime record 5-1 in this park. He's 1-4 in the Bronx. First pitch to Tartabull, a ball. Tartabull has struck out twice. Finley has struck out 5. He has walked 3. 2-0.
Finley staring in right there at Durwood. He thought that pitch was a strike, and it looked like a pretty good pitch. Finley has now made 75 pitches. We're in the 4th inning.
Runner at second, 2 outs. Yanks with 4 in this inning to take the lead 4-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Tartabull sitting on 4 home runs. Three and 1. Last couple of years, Tartabull has been a key power man for this team, leading the Yanks in homers in both 92 and 93. Checks his swing, takes a walk. 4 walks allowed by Finley. 2 of them here in this 4th inning, and the Yanks now have batted around as Stanley comes up. Mike Stanley, the 5th hitter in Buck Showalter's order. Stanley is grounded to third. He is also struck out. Little tapper to the hill, and Finley throws to first. The Yanks bat around in the 4th. They score 4 times, and they lead this contest 4-0. Watch out, folks. The Phillie Phanatic is coming to the Big A this Friday. The Angels host the A's, and you'll enjoy the fun courtesy of Magic Marker. Remember, game time 7. The Phillie Phanatic puts on quite a show. Speaking of Philly, Mulholland coming over from the Phillies. He was Philadelphia's opening day starter 3 straight years coming into this season. He has himself a nice 4-0 lead as he goes to work in the fourth. Chad Curtis leads it off. Chad grounded to short on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. He's ready to bunt and takes ball one. A couple things about Chad. One, he is struggling again with a bat. But two, the highlight for Chad this season has been the fact that he has been very successful against left-handed pitching, hitting well over 300. 1 ball, 1 strike. Of course, his overall average at 217, so that gives you some idea of how it's been going for him. He grounds this one off his foot. Chad's the kind of fella that won't even wince. There are those numbers against left-handed pitching and against right-handed pitching here this season. Two-two.
There's that 1-2 fastball on the inside corner just off the plate, and that's where you want to miss. Let's see if he tries to go outside. 2-2.
So Chad continues to do some damage against the left-handers.
Buck Rogers said Chad's bat's starting to come around. Looks like he tries to go inside again, this time maybe a little bit up the ladder. Nice little inside out swing.
Let's see how Tim Salmon fares here. Struck out in the first inning. He's had 100 at bats so far this season, and he must have 23 hits. Right at 230. One ball, 1 strike. Salmon so far with 3 home runs. You remember last season he led the Angels with 31 home runs. The Angels have had a few different home run leaders, haven't they? 9 different players have led the Angels in home runs in the last 9 seasons. Only one of them has had more than Salmon's 31 home runs over those 9 campaigns. 2-1 on Salmon. There's the list from Reggie Jackson, Ken, right to Salmon. Gary Gaetti leading the team with 12 homers in '92, and the man who had more than 31, Wally Joyner, with 34 homers, leading the Angels in '87. Salmon certainly has competition on this club this season. There are others who can hit home runs. Perez and Davis. They each lead the team with 5. 2-2. Terry Mulholland, the 31-year-old from Pennsylvania, went to college at Marietta College in Ohio. He will keep you off balance at first base.
I want to see that quick move to second. That's what I'm waiting for.
Maybe we could yell down and he'll do it even if there's not a runner there, just to show us. Broken bat grounder. Velarde to Kelly to Mattingly, and that's 2, folks. Around the horn, Salmon gets into a double play, and that's the first time he's done it all season.
You know, Salmon does not hit many double plays because he has good speed, but that ball jammed him real good. He got out of the box pretty slow. But don't take anything away from the Yankees. That's a good 5 to 4 to 3, and they got him by a couple of steps. Third baseman almost falls down. You can see that he stumbles. Randy Velarde stumbles. Second baseman Pat Kelly takes the throw, gets out of the way of Chad Curtis, who's aggressively trying to break up that double play.
Here's Chili Davis. Fly ball right field. He's really hit it, folks. Carnival back. He's near the wall. And he makes the catch. Chili got under it just a bit too much. And a fine catch by Danny Tarnable. And that'll do it for the Angels in the 4th inning. On to the 5th, 4-0 New York. People you know, people who know L.A. Fans for late-breaking news and up-to-date sports coverage, join L.A.'s most experienced news team for award-winning News at 10. Tonight, right after the game, only on Channel 5, L.A.'s baseball station. There are your pitches for the two lefties. Quite a disparity.
Well, Finley has struggled. He has walked 4. He has struck out 5. That means he's making a lot of pitches alone. Those two numbers would indicate. The Yankees have stranded 7 in their 4 at-bats.
O'Neill, breaking pitch, strike 1. Paul has walked twice. Finley has walked a total of 4. Williams will follow, then Gallego here in the 5th. And Finley ahead 0-2.
Good pitch, took something off the curveball. That's the curveball we talked about earlier in the ballgame that makes him a better pitcher against left-handed hitting.
Baltimore with a 4-1 lead over Oakland now up in the Bay Area in the 4th inning. Well, they got a good club, don't they? 1-2 on Paul O'Neill. Well, for Finley, he gets something back after walking O'Neill twice. He makes the league's leading hitter look a little bit weak that time.
You see what the difference is. Finley, his first 2 times up against O'Neill, didn't throw anything close to a strike. On strike 3 right there, O'Neill had a terrible swing. Why? Because he was behind in the count. The difference alone between pitching ahead versus pitching behind. The kind of pitches you can make when you're ahead versus behind. It makes all the difference in the world.
Bernie Williams with a pair of singles, and it's ball 1. The only other Yankee with more than 1 hit is Jim Leyritz with a single and a double. 2-0. The Angels in New York on that last road trip played a couple at Yankee Stadium, won 1 and lost 1. In fact, as that game they won was the last game of the trip, their last victory. Coming home here and losing the first 5 of an 11-game homestand.
And this was the homestand that they were going to try to get even with the American League East, and it just hasn't worked out that way.
3-1.
6 games left on this homestand, however, and you got to start sometime. There's still time in this ball game to try to get something going.
Right at Spike Owen. And his throw in plenty of time, and 2 are away here in the Yanks' 5th. The game here tomorrow night will match a couple of left-handers again. Remember, a 7:35 start tomorrow night. Joe McGrain makes his first start of the season. He has pitched some in the minor leagues after coming back from that minor elbow surgery. And Jim Abbott goes tomorrow night here for the Yankees. Joe McGrain against Jim Abbott. Gallego looks at the fastball, strike 1.
You mentioned the fact that McGrain coming back from an injury. Mark Langston pitched in the bullpen before the game today, and a good gauge on when he will be back, I think you'll be able to find out tomorrow. How does his elbow feel after pitching today? Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, said he would probably try to hold Langston back today because he does feel very good. But the true test will be how he feels tomorrow how the elbow responds overnight.
Two and one.
And as far as when he will be back, they're hoping 15th to the 20th of this month. Doesn't take long with that arthroscopic surgery. In fact, Greg Myers on the field today, first time in uniform since the surgery about a week ago.
Walking with just a minimal limp.
And he says he'll be back in about 3 more weeks if everything holds to be the same with him as far as his rehab schedule.
Finley has gone 3 and 1 on Gallego. 2 down, nobody on, 5th inning. This ball hit very, very high out to center field. Chad with a catch onto the bottom of the 5th. Bo Jackson, Eduardo Perez, and Chris Turner coming up. Fans, we've got a lot of great things coming up at the ballpark. How about this Saturday night? It is Umbrella Night. That's right. The first 20,000 of you adult fans will receive a beautiful full-size umbrella courtesy of KTLA Channel 5. The A's will be in, and we know you'll want to be out. 714-663-9000, the number to call for tickets. Here's Bo Jackson. Called out on strikes his first trip, and Mulholland's pitch misses, ball 1. Jackson, Perez, and Turner. 4-0 Yanks. They did all their scoring when they batted around against Finley in the 4th. That's off the hands, folks. That was a broken bat. Kelly grabs it, and 1 down. Ken Wilson along with Ken Brett. Nice crowd on this Tuesday night enjoying a beautiful evening. Nice ballpark and the Yanks in town. I invite you to come out tomorrow night for the wrap-up game of this series. And then Oakland in for 4 beginning Thursday night. Perez singled back in the 2nd inning. In that inning, Davis singled. Bo struck out, and then Perez a hit. The Angels couldn't do anything. And a double steal failed to work, and then Chris Turner struck out. That's really the best opportunity the Angels have had. That opportunity in the 2nd inning tonight against Terry Mulholland. Eduardo granted time by Durwood Merrill.
He wasn't quite ready, and Mulholland went into his windup. He asked for timeout, and I'm surprised he got it.
Ball hit in the air, right field line. Kelly and Mattingly in foul ground for the 2nd out.
Mulholland does not look like a pitcher tonight that came into the ball game with an ERA of 7.3. Lifetime record in the big leagues of 59 and 60. Best year 1991 with the Phillies. He was 16 and 13 with an ERA of 3.61.
Chris Turner hits the ball high, not very far. Gallego drifting out. Bernie Williams in, the shortstop all the way, and that retires the side. And through 5 at Anaheim Stadium, the New York Yankees 4, the California Angels nothing. Hey, you're going to want to come out to the ballpark on Friday night. First of all, the Angels and the A's are going to go head-to-head. Brian Anderson against Miguel Jimenez, a couple of young pitchers. But more importantly, the Phillie Phanatic is going to entertain. If you've not seen the Phillie Phanatic for many seasons, a fixture at the Veteran Stadium in Philadelphia, you're going to want to see it. The Phillie Phanatic. All the fun courtesy of Magic Marker. That is Friday night here at the Big A. You've seen the Phillie Phanatic many times.
You know, I haven't seen him all that much because when I was in the National League, he hadn't been born yet.
No. Yeah. I saw him a lot, and I must...
and I know he's entertaining.
He is quite good. Quite good. Pat Kelly, 6th inning, leading off for the Yanks against Chuck Finley. 1 strike. The great contrast, of course, Finley in the fourth gave up 4 runs, 4 hits, walked 2. The Yanks batted around. And the very next inning, the fifth, he sends them down 1-2-3. Velarde and Leyritz will follow here in the sixth inning. One and one. Finley, 31 years of age now, of course, from Monroe, Louisiana. Went to Northeast Louisiana State. Trying to win for the first time this season, and it's going to be quite a challenge yet tonight. Trailing by 4. A ball, 2 strikes.
You know, Ken, how many times over the course of the season will we talk about getting ahead, the importance of getting ahead? Command and control, command of your pitches, good control. Pretty good example of the difference in this ball game. Finley tonight versus Mulholland. Chuck Finley, coming into this inning, the top of the 6th, had thrown a tremendous number of pitches, more than Mulholland, but the difference is even more than that when you talk about the difference of balls they have thrown. Through 5 innings, Mulholland had thrown 12 balls out of the strike zone. Finley 45.
Finley throws one there out of the strike zone, and it gets him a strikeout of Pat Kelly.
Kelly behind in the count. And there it is. He's going to get that a lot if he's ahead. If he's not ahead, he's not going to get that pitch swung at.
7 strikeouts for Finley, ties his season high.
See, I personally don't think that Mulholland has a whole lot better stuff than Finley. I think Chuck Finley has as good a stuff as most pitchers in this league. But tonight, he has not had good command and control. And the command and control have hurt him. He's thrown 100 pitches now in 5 1/3 innings.
There's a liner down the line in right. He got a fastball up on a 1-0 pitch all the way to the corner. Salmon will dig it out, and into second with a double is Randy Velarde. That's his second hit.
Well, the pitcher with command and control tonight is Mulholland, and he is cruising right now 4-0. The pitch out over the plate and a little bit up, and that's not that bad a pitch. That's just a good job of hitting. A lot of hitters are going to try to pull that pitch. If they try to pull it, they're probably going to make it out. Velarde goes with it and gets himself a double. Good hitting.
All those things you said about Chuck Finley in this performance tonight, you could basically have said the same thing about each of his 5 previous starts. Jim Leyritz, and everybody wondering, well, what's it going to take to get Finley to the Finley that we know and love? Well, he's got a ways to go yet.
He's just got to be more consistent and make better pitches.
Of course, on the other side, you could say, well, he hasn't gotten too much run support yet tonight.
Well, to me, if he hadn't gotten a whole lot of run support, his ERA would be less important. But his ERA coming into the ballgame was 6.4, and as a result of what he's done so far in this ballgame, that ERA is probably a little higher.
Yeah, hasn't helped himself, that's for sure.
If he was 0-2 in the month of April and had an ERA of 2.7, obviously he would have been throwing the ball exceptionally well. But he hasn't. And when your team is not scoring and you're not throwing the ball well, you can't really expect to win.
And your other ace, along with Finley, Langston, we talked about on the DL, makes it tough to put much together when your 2 best pitchers are winless in May. 3 balls and a strike on Jim Leyritz. But the hope, of course, is Finley gets straightened out, Langston comes back, pitches well, and McGrain can make some contributions. Then all of a sudden, the picture is much brighter. Here's a fly to right. Leyritz has stepped into it. Could be. It is gone into the empty seats in right field. Leyritz, 6th home run of the season, and he has 3 hits tonight and now 4 RBIs, and it is 6-0 New York.
Now Bucky Showalter know what he's doing. He's the manager of the Yankees. He puts the hot bat in against the left-handed pitcher. He benches Mattingly. He benches Luis Polonia, and what's he get? He gets 4 RBIs and a 3-hit performance from this man, Jim Leyritz. Up, out over the plate. No doubt about it.
First pitch to Don Mattingly is a strike. Mattingly has gone 0 for 2 plus a 1. Well, Leyritz gave it a ride. Finley grabs the grounder and throws out Mattingly. 2 gone. Six nothing New York in the 6th inning. The Angels' last game Sunday night here, they lost to Boston 10-1. 1 strike on Tartabull. You go back to Saturday night, they lost to Boston 4-1. So not much run production in the last 3 games, just 2 runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little off that pitch. It's in there. 1-2 on Tartabull, whose dad played in the big leagues. Jose Tartabull was a little left-handed hitter.
Diminutive.
Small. Played back in Buck Rogers' era. 2-2.
Scrappy. Wiry. Wiry's
Oh,
another
wiry. Yeah. Wee little. 3-2. No. Durwood Merrill says, no, I'm going to throw it my left hand at my hip and call it strike 3. And Tartabull goes, what are you talking about? Finley has his 8th strikeout, a season high. But the Yanks get a 2-run homer from Leyritz, and they're up 6-0.
This Angels game is brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately?
This day in baseball history, let's go back to May the 3rd, 1936. Joe DiMaggio made his big league debut with the Yanks. Looked like he was going to be a good one even then. 3 hits in his major league debut. Rex Hudler leads off the 6th, takes a ball. Times have changed, of course, since Joe came up. He battled for an annual contract that probably was $15,000, $20,000 when he was starring. Now he gets that, what, 2 hours signing autographs?
Probably.
Dollar might not be worth quite as much as it was then, but it still falls under that category. Oh, how times have changed. Mulholland takes a little off. Hudler screams it back, and Mulholland whips the ball over to Mattingly. 1 away in the 6th inning.
Mulholland, the kind of a pitcher that's going to help himself on the mound. Good fielder. As I mentioned, good move to first base. The only thing I don't know is what kind of hitter he was. Don't know.
Here is Spike Owen. 4 hits and 16 at bats this season. Mulholland, you might recall, was with the Giants before he was traded to Philadelphia in '89. Most wins, 16 and 91. Ken mentioned it briefly earlier. At third, Velarde, he recovers in time to throw out Spike Owen. 7 in a row retired by Mulholland.
Velarde backs up to get the big hop here. Look at the pitch. Little off-speed pitch, stays up, tries to pull it. Little bit of a bad bounce, but watch him jump on it, set the feet, and throw quickly. And look at the stretch by Mattingly. The thing that I liked about this play, watch him set his feet. Boom, he just jumps and he's set to throw. Knew he had to rush.
There's a strike. 1 strike on Damian Easley, who twice has grounded to the shortstop Gallego.
Just keeps on pouring in those strikes.
That's the one thing I remember from the National League. He has very good control. Throws a lot of strikes. Out in center field, Bernie Williams. Angels go in order. Mulholland really cruising now. He has retired 8 straight.
New pitcher for the Angels as we get a view of one of the fans here at the Big A tonight. Yankees having things their way so far, 6-0. As we go to the top of the 7th, we'll get our look at Scott Lewis. Chuck Finley, we can close the book on him. He goes 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs. They were earned. Walked 4, struck out 8. Scott Lewis, his numbers this year, this is his 11th game. He's 0-1 with an ERA of 6.23 facing Stanley O'Neill and Bernie Williams. 20 hits, 13 innings. Scott Lewis. Buck Rogers told me before the ball game, it is the pitching that is going to take the team from where it is now to where he wants to see it go, and that is obviously in the plus column. The key is going to be the pitching, says Buck Rogers. And they did not get the great pitching tonight from Chuck Finley. The 8 strikeouts, an indication that he did have the good stuff. 4 walks in 6 innings. That's not a good number, and a lot of mistakes on the mound.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mike Stanley. Leading off the 7th, O'Neill and Williams will follow for New York. They're trying to up their record to 4-2 on a road trip that concludes here tomorrow night. Off the hands, Looper. Spike Owen leaps and makes the catch. Oh, baby, what a play by Spike Owen.
His ball jams the catcher right off the fist. Just a little looper, but Spike has to go back. He knows he's got to time his jump, and there he goes. That little snow cone there, did you see that? Watch the ball almost pop out of his glove.
Paul O'Neill, first pitch is strike.
You know, we failed to note that Gary DiSarcina, obviously, who plays shortstop 9 days out of 10, not in the lineup tonight, and just a day off. And in the past, Spike O'Neill, or Spike Owen, had hit Mulholland pretty good.
1 ball, 1 strike. So about every time you see Spike Owen in a game, starting a game, he will have had good success against that pitcher in the past. 1-2. You know, I mentioned earlier that the Yanks have their own plane now. This is the first road trip they have used it. They did not buy the plane, by the way. I did check. They are leasing the plane.
I'll tell you what a benefit to have your own plane.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, nine times out of 10 teams charter wherever they go. I mean, they just rent the plane, but if you have your own plane, usually what they'll do is they'll take out seats.
They did that. They have 3 or 4 tables in this plane.
Permanent card tables. You know, you can make it much more comfortable, and that's the key. First class seating front to rear instead of, even if you have a charter and every player gets their own seats, most of these guys are pretty big, and if you're sitting in the coach section of most planes, it's pretty cramped.
They have a long-term lease on the plane. 1 year. Didn't make a firm commitment.
I guess there's a lot of planes available.
3-2. They designed the inside how they wanted it. Company in Tucson, Arizona leased it to them, and got the Yankee logos on the outside of the plane, so they've done it upright. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Paul O'Neill.
I think one of the problems you have when you buy your own plane, and I think the LA Kings can probably tell you this, it costs money even when it's on the ground.
Yes, it does.
Got to maintain those babies. Got to buy the fuel.
Line drive, base hit to left. The league's leading hitter, who has walked twice tonight, has his first hit. It comes with 1 out in the 7th. And that's the 10th New York hit.
Paul O'Neill is a good hitter when it comes to going the other way. Look at this. Boy, he really waits on that ball and just slaps it into left field.
Bernie Williams is 2 for 3, both singles. He has scored a run, lifting his average over 200. Grounder to short. Spike charges quickly over to Hudler on to first. Yes, a double play. Bernie Williams grounds into a double play. 7th inning stretch time. here at the ballpark. Yanks up 6-0. Well, the first 20,000 adults here at the ballpark on Saturday night are going to receive a terrific full-size umbrella. The umbrella is courtesy of KTLA Channel 5. It'll be yours if you're one of the first 20,000 adults. Angels and Athletics Saturday night. 714-663-9000 for tickets. We'll see you here. Ken and I will be here. That game will also be on Channel 5, 7 o'clock this Saturday night. No time like the present to get it going. The Angels need runs, and they need a bunch of them. Chad Curtis leads off, and Terry Mulholland's first pitch high, ball one. Chad has one of the Angels' 3 hits. That came in the 4th, leading off. Salmon then hit into a double play. The Angels have had only 1 threat tonight. That was in the 2nd. 1-1. That's when they had their other hits. Chili Davis led off the 2nd inning with a single to right. Bo Jackson was called out on strikes. Eduardo Perez singled to center, but with Turner up there, the Angels tried to hit and run. Turner swung and missed, and Davis was thrown out at 3rd. Then Turner struck out.
You know, that's one thing the Angels have not been very good at on this homestand, getting a lead. They have had to play catch-up just about in every ballgame.
There's a hit to right. Curtis has a couple. And Tarnable will get it back in. So Chad Curtis, who was 1 for his last 13, now has hits in his last 2 at-bats.
The thing you've got to like about the last 2 hits from Chad, 1 to center, 1 to right. Early in the season when he was really struggling, he was trying to pull everything.
Salmon has struck out and grounded into a double play. How those Cubs doing? They lose again today there, didn't they, at home? and 12 at home. 12 games at home, you'd win 1 by accident, wouldn't you? Wouldn't the team hand you one?
You'd think somebody'd come up and have a bad day against you. You win by default 1 game.
Oh, those Cubbies.
You'd think those visiting teams, they might have forgot it was a day game, might have had a little too much fun the night before. And oh, got to get that bus early.
Here's one to right. Tarnable going back. Still back. Near the track, hauls it in. And Curtis scampers back to first. 1 down.
You ever have one of those days in Chicago where you have a day game and you go out and have dinner and you start having so much fun that you leave the establishment, the sun's coming out?
Might as well go right to the park.
That'll happen in Chicago once in a while.
Chili Davis didn't miss a home run by much his last time up. He sent Tarnable right to that low wall in right field. Angels trail it 6-0, 7th inning. Curtis at first, 1 out. Bo Jackson after Chili Davis, who grounds it up the middle, and it's through. A base hit. Chili has his second hit. Curtis stops at second. And for only the second time this evening, the Angels have 2 men on. And again, it is with 1 out. And this crowd sensing that Bo might knock a long one and cut the lead in half.
Mulholland in his 5 previous starts has averaged about 6 innings per start. And here's Chili not trying to do too much, as he said before the ball game, goes right up the middle. He's got 2 base hits. So Mulholland averaging about 6 innings a start. Here we are in the 7th inning. The bullpen for the Yankees is still quiet.
Mulholland with the Yanks has won twice at Yankee Stadium. He has lost twice on the road. And Bo Jackson 0 for 2.
The pitch count for Mulholland, 71, so he's got plenty left.
Bo has been called out on strikes and popped to second. He hits it a ton, but doesn't get around quite enough. Boy, you see that power in a swing like that, don't you?
He's one of the few guys you'll see that just reaches out and slaps at the ball and hits a home run in foul territory down the right field line. I mean, this man is incredibly strong.
That was impressive right there. Didn't get much behind it. And he's in the hole 0-2. Mulholland with 5 strikeouts, but remember, he piled them up early. He has not had a strikeout since the 3rd inning, but he's still been superb. 1-2. Mulholland working on a 5-hitter. Working on a shutout in the 7th. And there's another strikeout, number 6 for Terry Mulholland.
He gets ahead with strikes. He gets him out with a ball. Breaking ball down and in. Tough pitch to lay off. Tough pitch to hit. Had him all tied up with his swing.
Perez with one of the 5 Angels hits. His average at .213. Out of play down the right field line. Tomorrow night, Joe McGrain and Jim Abbott. And Tony La Russa's A's here starting Thursday night. Thursday at 7:05, Friday at 7:05, Saturday at 7:05, and a 1:05 game Sunday. And then it's out on the road for the Angels. Grounder. Gallego over to Kelly. The force out on Chili Davis. So the Angels get a couple of hits early in the inning, but can't muster up a run. On to the 8th. 6-0 Yankees. Tomorrow night at 8 on an all-new action pack. Hey, it's a time of mystery and majesty where demons rule and terror reigns. Dare to venture into the world of Hercules tomorrow night at 8, only on Channel 5. Nice to have you with us tonight here at Anaheim Stadium. Ken Wilson along with Ken Brett. The Angels and the Yankees. The Angels 4 runs in the 4th against Chuck Finley, and then 2 more in the 6th against Finley, his final inning. Scott Lewis working here in the 8th, his 2nd inning, and a line drive to left off the bat of Gallego, and that's a base hit. Mike Gallego, who had only 3 hits in 38 at bats, now has 2 hits in his last 3 at bats.
He's back.
The Angels are making some people healthy here. 11 hits for New York. And this is Pat Kelly. RBI hit in the big 4-run 4th. Good pitch, strike 1. The Angels have lost 5 in a row and 9 out of 10. There's a base hit to left for Kelly. Stopping at 2nd is Gallego. Velarde has 2 hits. Williams has 2 hits. Gallego has 2 hits. Kelly has 2 hits. And Leyritz has 3 hits.
And Leyritz, of course, has the 4 RBIs, including the big home run. And now the top of the order up, runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
That means Randy Velarde with a single, a double, and a run scored in 3 at-bats. Man on deck, Jim Leyritz, has a chance to hit for the cycle. Grounder. Hudler. Owen. Perez stays on the bag long enough to complete the double play. Mike Gallego, in the meantime, advances to 3rd.
So Scott Lewis, his 2nd double play that he has thrown up. Inside out swing. He gets a bad jump out of the box. And Perez almost comes off the bag, just takes that right foot and drags it.
Jim Leyritz will come up. He has singled, he has doubled, and he has hit a home run. So he is just missing the triple. And I say just, might be the toughest hit to come up with. 9 Yankees have hit for the cycle. The last man to do it, Bobby Mercer, back in '72.
Gives you an idea of how hard it is. 22 years ago. Best place to get a triple here? What do you think? He's got to wrap it around one of the corners.
This is not a real triples kind of ballpark, is it?
Hit a ball in the left field corner and have it run along the fence, or the same thing in the right field corner. That's his best chance.
So you want him to pull one down the left field line.
I'm not saying I want him to do anything. I just said that's his best chance.
That's his best chance.
Yes. I don't think he's a gap triple hitter.
No, I don't believe so. Easily, nice play, and the throw in time. Very nice play by Damian Easley. And the Yanks get hits to begin the inning from Gallego and Kelly, but they fail to score. And it remains all Yankees so far. They lead it 6-0. Friday night, come on out and watch the Angels and the A's and catch the Phillie Phanatic. The Phanatic retired from the Vet in Philadelphia, but he'll be here at the Big A, and he is a crowd pleaser. All the fun from Magic Marker on Friday night. Remember, game time 7 o'clock. Bottom of the 8th inning. Terry Mulholland is cruising. Chris Turner is 0 for 2. He loops one to right. That's a base hit. And they have been few and far between for Chris Turner. He had only 1 hit in his last 32 at bats, and that's finally his first hit at home.
And maybe that'll stop the bleeding for him, so to speak. And look at the pitch count. 79, only 17 balls. You know, Chris Turner was very up before the ball game. I said, "Are you going to get it going tonight?" He said, "Yeah, tonight's the night."
He's a real positive fella. You spend some time with him, and you just get the idea that he's a fellow who will somehow be successful.
You talk to most of the guys in the team, and most of the guys in the team are really not overly discouraged at the way they've gotten out of the gate. I guess the positive way to look at it is they're 3 games out of first place. And why is Mulholland throwing to first base with a 6-0 lead and the catcher on first?
Well,
Must need to work on it.
When you got the good move, you show it.
I'd save it for a time when I might need it.
Turner at first, nobody out, 8th inning. Hudler up there. Rex is struck out, grounded to the mound. These fellas know each other from that other league when Hudler was with St. Louis, Mulholland with Philadelphia. And going head to head, Hudler against Mulholland. Mulholland has had the better of it. There's a hit for Hudler. Turner will go to second. Now he'll go to third. Hudler races to second base. And they'll stop Chris Turner at third. And this gets the crowd going. Nobody out in the 8th, and Angels at second and third.
And the Yankee bullpen is going to start to move around as the Angels finally get something going and puts the runners in scoring position. The pitch is up and in. Ground ball inside the bag at third.
Here's the veteran Spike Owen playing short tonight. He is struck out and grounded to third. And Mulholland's pitch low, ball 1. Spike out of the University of Texas. He was a college All-America player there in '82. That year he was a first-round draft pick of the Seattle Mariners. Spike, does he know Mulholland? Yes, he does. And as Ken mentioned earlier, Spike Owen has done very, very well in his career against this lefty. which is primarily why he's in there tonight. 3-1.
Boy, you talk about the automatic pitch. My goodness. My goodness. The automatic 3-0 for a strike. Woo.
Turner at third. Hudler at second. Nobody out, 8th inning. And now the bases are loaded with Angels. The Angels trailing at 6-0.
First walk given up by the left-hander. Now he's got a little bit of a problem on his hands. There's still a 6-run lead for Mulholland, but now you've got the top of the order, 3 runners on base, nobody out, and we do have some people throwing for the Yankees in the bullpen.
Easily, strike one. The Yanks have had 1 complete game thrown this season, and they've basically gone with 4 starters. The complete game belongs to Melito Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Basically, the rotation has been Mulholland, Abbott, Key, and Perez. Scott Kamenecki, who's in the bullpen now, has made 1 start for the Yanks. Damian hitless in 3 at-bats. Looking for a big hit here. Gets the count in his favor, 2-1. Curtis, who has 2 of the Angels' 7 hits, is on deck. Fly ball, center field. Turner will tag. Bernie Williams the catch, and he'll just throw to the shortstop Gallego. It is 6-1. New York. Easily the sacrifice fly. He earns his 9th RBI. Chad Curtis has singled in his last 2 at-bats. The only Angel with more than 1 hit. To the bag goes Kelly, and the throw is in time. There's their move.
There's that sneaky move to second.
Did you like it?
Very unorthodox. I would think that would be a little tough on your arm.
Ooh. Hudler at second, Owen at first. Mattingly plays well behind him. 1 down, 8th inning. Mulholland goes to second. And that's it. Throw to third. Hudler back. Mulholland to Gallego to cut down Spike Owen. Safe at first is Curtis on the fielder's choice with Hudler at third.
Tough to get Chad Curtis on a double play ball. Mulholland knows he's going to have to get the lead out at second. However, before he does anything, the throw's just a little off the mark. And watch what the alert shortstop Gallego does. He looks right to third, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to get Hudler round in the bag at third. But not the wonder dog. No way, huh?
Yeah, you could see all the help that Ken Maka was giving him. Good idea what a coach does.
Coach has got to tell the runner exactly what to do, because the runner a lot of times can't see the ball behind him.
Tim Salmon could make it interesting again. And he fouls it over to the dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tim. The one thing he has done is produced pretty well with runners in scoring position this season, hitting .381. Obviously, with an average at .225, he hasn't done all that much in other situations. 0 for 3 tonight. 2-1. Two on, 2 outs, and 3 balls and a strike on Salmon. Yanks got 4 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th inning on a Jim Leyritz home run. The Angels have come back with a run here in the 8th. on an easily sacrificed fly. Salmon walks. 2 walks in the inning, the only 2 of the game allowed by Mulholland. The bases loaded for Chili Davis, and here comes the manager, Buck Showalter.
Mulholland still hasn't made a lot of pitches. I mean, he's right around 100. 97 pitches. And the question is, does Showalter take him out? It's probably going to be up to the catcher as much as anybody. Ask the catcher what kind of stuff he's got, and he's convinced that he feels pretty good. He's going to leave him in.
Chili is 2 for 3. Batting .371, and he looks at ball 1. Mulholland giving every sign, every indication that he's running out of gas. Gave up a couple of hits last inning. Now 2 hits, 2 walks here in this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is the time when you're a pitcher. If you're starting to run a little low, you got to reach back and give it what you got. This is when all the work pays off, right here.
From 2 good pitches. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Angels could use the long ball. Chili 5 home runs, 19 RBIs. Bases jammed. 2 outs, 8th inning, down by 5. Swing and a foul. It caught the hand of Mike Stanley. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stanley trying to handle the pain there.
He's not going out to see how the pitcher is. He's going out to give himself a little extra time here. Off the mask, right into the hand. Most catchers, if you'll ever see a catcher after he retires, and a lot of them while they're playing, and you ask them to put their fingers straight out, most of their fingers are bent the wrong way a little bit. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, I have.
That's a pretty good reason why. Buck Rogers is a pretty good example of that. His fingers go the wrong direction a few different places.
Gnarled appendages. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Chili Davis. Fly ball, left center. Chili is rocking it in, and it is gone. A grand slam home run. Chili Davis, a grand slam home run. And the Angels are back in it here in the 8th inning. Hudler scores. Curtis scores. Salmon scores. And Chili scores. Oh, baby, they're going wild. As Chili Davis belts his 6th home run, and he now has 23 runs batted in. A grand slam home run for the Angels' designated hitter, and all of a sudden it's 6-5.
Curveball that does not get down enough, and look at Chili. You know, Chili said before the ball game, he's pretty much taking what the pitcher's given. He had to be thinking, perhaps, if I get a pitch and I drive it out of the ballpark, I'd get us back in the ball game. That's exactly what he did, and all of a sudden it's a 5-run bottom of the 8th and a 6-5 Yankee lead.
Buck Showalter to the mound, making the change. And this crowd of over 22,000 loving it here now. The Yanks bring in a new pitcher. 8th inning. Yanks up 6-5. Will return to the Big A in just a moment.
Well, there's a look at Mr. Grand Slam, Chili Davis, who has just hit his 4th career Grand Slam in left center. And the Angels a big 5-run bottom of the 8th, a 6-5 Yankee lead. Mulholland is out, and this is our first look at Xavier Hernandez. Picked up from the Houston Astros last year. in exchange for Andy Stankiewicz and a right-handed pitcher named Domingo Jean. He's 1-0 with an ERA of 5.4, has 4 saves, and he was picked up primarily to be the closer for the Yankees this year, even though for Houston he did not have a lot of experience as a closer. Last year for the Astros had a total of 9 saves in 72 games, but a good ERA last year of 2.61.
All of a sudden, Bo Jackson steps up here in the 8th inning with a chance to tie it with one swing of the bat. Bo is 0 for 3. And Hernandez delivers. Ball 1.
Here's the home run that made this a 6-5 ball game. Chile had 2 strikes on him.
This ground ball is foul. 1-1. Each side with a home run. Leyritz a 2-run shot for the Yanks in the 6th inning. Davis, the grand slam bolt here in the 8th for the Angels. After the first run of the inning came on an easily sacrificed fly. Well, Bo would love to hit it out, wouldn't he? He is without a hit on the homestand in 15 at-bats. He has hit 3 as an Angel.
You know, sometimes I think Bo tries to do so much up at the plate. And he's so aggressive. He wants to please and he wants to contribute so bad. He's just up there. He's just swinging at anything.
Bo strikes out. Xavier Hernandez comes in relief of Terry Mulholland, gets the job done. Now the 9th upcoming. Yanks 6, Angels 5. Bob Patterson comes on after Chuck Finley goes 6, and Scott Lewis shuts out the Yanks on 3 hits over 2 innings. This is the 12th appearance of the season for the veteran left-hander with an ERA of 5. He's worked 9 innings, struck out 7. And walked a couple. He just wants to get the 3 outs here and let the Angels bats work in the bottom of the 9th. And a new left fielder, Jim Edmonds, takes over for Bo Jackson.
Nice to see Jim Edmonds back in the lineup. Don't forget it was against these Yankees in the last game of that road trip that he took one in the left side of the throat. A buffalo shot, so to speak, and he went down and he was woozy for several days after that. Buck Rogers has said even before the weekend he didn't think he'd be ready to play 100% again until tonight, so it's good to see him back.
So he misses a week, and it is good to have him back. This is Don Mattingly, 0 for 3 plus a walk. Mattingly looks at one over the outside edge, a strike, and he shakes his head. Boy, no question about it. He didn't look. He looks and then shakes his head. His 13-game hitting streak on the line in the 9th. He guides a roller to Hudler. And he throws out Mattingly. 1 down in the 9th. Looking ahead, due up in the bottom half of the inning for Buck Rogers' club. Eduardo Perez, Chris Turner, and Rex Hudler. That could change a bit. Tartabull has struck out 3 times tonight. He has also walked. And he has a base hit. The Yanks have had at least 1 hit in every inning with the exception of the 5th. And their hit total is 13. Mike Stanley comes up. He's the only Yankee not to reach base tonight. He and Mattingly are the only Yanks without hits. Tartabull goes. The pitch, a ball to throw in plenty of time as Turner to Hudler, gunning down Tartabull 2 away.
Well, Danny Tartabull not the kind of a guy that's going to run on his own. He's 0 for 5 now. I take that back. That's the first time he has tried to run this year. So I think somebody might have missed a sign here. Not too close. So 2 quick outs here by the Angels.
Next pitch to Stanley takes the count to 2-0. On the Yankees catcher. Boy, the Angels have been involved in all sorts of one-run games. They've already been involved in 8 of them. They're in one now, 9th inning. They trail the Yanks 6-5. Three and 2. To right. Salmon back. He's on the track and right against the fence makes the catch. And this one goes to the bottom of the 9th. Stick around. The Angels need at least 1 run. Well, a bit of a study in contrast. We mentioned the Angels have already been involved in 8 one-run games, but they're 1-7. Their lone win was April 15th, that wild 10-inning 14-13 win over Toronto. And look at the Yanks. They've only had one-run game this season, and they lost that one. Yanks lead at 6-5. Xavier Hernandez ready to pitch in the bottom of the 9th to Eduardo Perez. Harold Reynolds moves into the on-deck circle to hit for Chris Turner. Eduardo has a hit in 3 at-bats. Tommy Hawks 1 foul.
Key pitch for Hernandez is a forkball. He's got an outstanding forkball, and you go back and look at what he did. The only hitter he faced in the 8th, Bo Jackson, got him to swing at 2 bad ones out of the strike zone. And, of course, the key to that, getting ahead.
One ball, 1 strike. The Angels, their poorest start ever at home, 2-10. They would love to get a dramatic come from behind win here tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ken Maka, the third base coach. Yanks got 4 in the 4th, 2 more in the 6th on a Leyritz homer. And the Angels 5 in the 8th, highlighted by Chili Davis's grand slam home run. Ken Wilson, Ken Brett, glad you're tuned our way. We're in the 9th. Perez leading off against Hernandez. Angels down by 1, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, the Angels, especially earlier in the season, a lot of 9th inning runs, 28 runs in the 9th inning this season, most by any club in the majors.
Just like to up it a little bit to maybe 30, huh?
Why not? Remember, they had 7 runs in the 9th inning to tie Toronto in that 14-13 win that they got in the 10th. Boy, what a nice play by Hernandez. Woo! He snags that baby. And Perez is gone, 1 out.
Well, I tell you what, that was an outstanding play. I thought when that ball left the bat, it had a chance to end up in center field, and I think that's where it would have ended up had the pitcher not gone down and made a nice defensive play. Pinch hitter here for Chris Turner, who went 1 for 3 in the ball game. Harold Reynolds going to come off the bench and hit for him.
Harold hitting .273 in his first season with the Angels. The switch hitter up there against Hernandez. Ball 1 into the on-deck circle. Moves Dwight Smith to bat for Rex Hudler. ball, 1 strike.
Harold questioning the call from Durwood Merrill. Thought the pitch was low.
Harold 2 out of 3 as a pinch hitter. He has half of the Angels' pinch hits. The other pinch hits belong to the man on deck, Dwight Smith, and rookie catcher George Fabregas. Ken and I want to send our best to our good friend Janet Harris, works at KTLA. Just gave birth to a baby, and Janet, congratulations. Hope you and the baby boy are doing well. Ken and I will be talking to you soon. There's a strike on Reynolds, and it's 3-2.
That's 2 strike called, and Harold didn't like either one of them. Boy, look at that pitch.
Harold just wants to get on base, and it's 3-2.
Hernandez just wants to throw a strike. He's going to lay this one in here.
He walks him, and the potential tying run at first base, 1 out, 9th inning.
Reynolds on first has the speed. I don't think the Angels, or I don't know whether the Angels are going to try and steal a base here, but Harold does have some speed.
50 career pinch hits for Dwight Smith when he was with the Cubs, a franchise record. He already, as we mentioned, has 1 with the Angels in time call. Here comes Bucky Showalter, the skipper, out.
He's got a couple of left-handers in the bullpen. Bob Gibson, Sterling Hitchcock. Who do the Angels have on the bench as far as a right-hander? They have 1. Gary DiSarcina.
We should note that Steve Howe was disabled today, and that's why Ken is able to mention Sterling Hitchcock, who has been recalled from the minors. Well, that's it for Hernandez. Angels still alive. 6-5 Yanks, bottom of the 9th. We'll return to the ballpark after these messages.
We are back at the Big A, bottom of the 9th, 6-5 Yankees. Runner on first. New Yankee pitcher, left-hander Sterling Hitchcock, just brought up from AAA. And there's his numbers at AAA, and the wheels are turning for Buck Rogers as well, because Gary DiSarcina now has a bat in his hand, and it looks like he is going to pinch hit for Dwight Smith. So Buck Rogers gets the last call here. He wants a right-hander to face the left-handed throwing Sterling Hitchcock. And Hitchcock definitely a prospect as far as the Yankees are concerned. And it's not his rookie year this year. He has been up with the Yankees in each of the last 2 seasons. And Billy Connors, their pitching coach, says he has all 4 pitches. He has good stuff, and he is going to be a starting pitcher in the big leagues soon.
This is the 10th appearance in the show for Sterling Hitchcock, and it's the first time he has worked out of the bullpen. A 1-4 career record and an ERA of almost 6. So Gary DiSarcina will come up. They announced Dwight Smith, so he has been used just for the record.
Angel bench now consists of 1 player, 1 extra player, George Fabregas. And I would imagine he's going to probably come in the game and catch if this game ends up going a little longer. And the Angels, of course, would like to see that happen.
Runner at first, 1 out. Little throw over by Hitchcock. Hitchcock began his pro career in 1989. This is the first time as a pro pitcher that he has ever worked out of the bullpen. Swing and a foul off the mask of Mike Stanley.
You know, DiSarcina likes to get those swings out of his way. Doesn't walk too often, and for the second time in as many innings, taking one right off the mask is Mike Stanley.
Reynolds at first, 1 out, down by a run are the Angels in the 9th. We mentioned Hitchcock working for the first time out of the bullpen. This is the 112th game as a pro pitcher, so it's got to feel a little strange to it. One ball, 1 strike. Yanks had a 6-0 lead until the Angels exploded for 5 in the 8th. Now they're trying to at least tie it here in the 9th. '23-year-old left-hander out there. And it's fouled back, 1-2. The bat got away and ended up hitting the umpire, Durwood Merrill. Durwood is fine. Perez grounded out to begin the inning. Reynolds pinch hitting his walk. Little check swing, Tapper. Velarde gobbles it up. Off balance throw in time. DeSarcina, the pinch hitter, is retired. 2 down, and out at second is Harold Reynolds.
And excuse me, check swing by DeSarcina, just trying to protect the plate with a 2-strike count. One thing that does result, Reynolds 90 feet from first to second. He scores, or the likelihood of Harold Reynolds scoring on a base hit, very real. Angels down to their last out with a tying run at second.
Spike Owen comes back to haunt ex-Yankee teammates with game-winning hit in bottom of 9th. That's a headline that could be written for tomorrow morning if Spike Owen can deliver. Actually, not defeat him, but tie him.
You're talking about a home run then, aren't you?
Yeah, well, a home run, but I'm not that unrealistic. But at least a big hit here could tie it. That's what the Angels need. That's a strike, 1-1. Spike batting in the 9th spot. He is 0 for 2 plus a walk. Wouldn't that be something if Spike Owen hit a home run? He played with the Yanks 1 season last year. Great pitch, 1-2.
As I said, when he came into the ballgame, they had very high expectations for this young man. Just turned 23.
22,592 here at the Big A tonight. Angels down to their final out. Swing and a miss. The ball dropped. Stanley throws it to Mattingly, and that's how this one ends. The Angels leave the potential tying run in scoring position. Mulholland is the winner, Finley the loser. The final, Yanks 6, Angels 5. And the Angels have lost 6 in a row. We'll return to Anaheim Stadium in just a moment. There's your recap. Yanks beat the Angels 6-5. Yanks leave 8. Angels leave 4. Mulholland 3-2 over Finley 0-3. Hitchcock, his first pro relief appearance, he gets a save. Leyritz and Davis hit home runs. Yanks get 4 in the 4th inning. First run comes in on a Mike Gallego base hit after O'Neill and Williams had walked to begin the inning against Finley. That made it 1-0. Then immediately following, Pat Kelly, a base hit to left, and that made it 2-0. Still in the 4th, after Velarde's sacrifice, Leyritz delivers with a hit to left field, and that'll score both Gallego and Kelly to round it out. 4 Yankee runs in the 4th inning. Then in the 6th inning, after a double by Velarde, Leyritz hits this home run to right center field to make it 6-0. That was the 6th inning, the last inning that Finley worked. And the Angels will go to work in the 8th inning. That was the big inning, the only big inning of the night for the Angels. Down 6-0. Damian Easley will come up and he'll be able to deliver after the inning began with a Turner single and a Hudler double. After a Spike Owen walk, this easily sacrificed fly that cut it from 6-0 to 6-1. Curtis would follow, grounding into a force out. Salmon draws a walk, and then Davis hits this one off Terry Mulholland, a grand slammer for Chile, his 6th home run, and it gives him 23 RBIs. So a grand slammer for Chile to highlight a 5-run 8th inning and send off the fireworks here at the Big A. It certainly got the crowd back into it, but it wasn't enough. The Angels leave a runner at second in the 9th and fall 1 run short. Well, our thanks to our producer-director, Joe Quazarano. For Ken Brett, this is Ken Wilson. Thank you for being with us tonight here at the Big A. Once again, the final score, the New York Yankees 6, the California Angels 5. Tonight's Angels game has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Motorola Pagers. Never miss an important call. Pocket a pager from Motorola. By Bank of America. Banking on America, Bank of America. And by Chevrolet and the new Chevy S-Series line of trucks. So new from the inside out, everything else is history.